Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. I'm 5 minutes early tonight. Hi. Oh, Lumide, Mr. Lumide, thank you. Thank you for coming online. I appreciate. You're always my first. Mr. Lumide, you're always my first. Let me wave back. You're always my first person to come online, and I do not take that for granted in any way. Okay, I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Good evening. Thank you for coming online. Thank you for coming on board tonight. Very interesting topic. At exactly 9 o'clock, we are going to start. Oh, God bless me greatly. God bless you too. God bless you too. Thank you. Oh, yes, you can hear me. That's beautiful. We have a very important topic we want to discuss about on tonight's Law Talk series. We'll be looking at the Realty Reality series. You know, the Law Talk series encompasses of law, business, and real estate. So the real estate, we have the Realty Reality series, and for the business we have the Business and Legal Structure series. So tonight's live section is basically for the law, for the real estate Realty Reality series. Okay, Mr. Lumida, you said you have a question. Okay, I will definitely take your question. That is sure. I'm going to definitely take your question, but that will be after my section tonight. Okay, Mr. Lumide, does your question border on what we're going to discuss tonight? Does it border on real estate? So you can just type your question, and I will look at it as I'm talking. Okay, so we have 3 more minutes. It's actually starting by 9 o'clock. And I just wanted to, come online before it's actually 9, so that people can get to see that we are online and we are live, and so that people can get to come and be a part of tonight's live section. It's a very, very interesting topic. It's a topic in which every person should be a part of. Okay, every person should be a part of, every person should listen to and contribute, because either way we're all affected one way or the other. Okay, so Mr. Lumide. Oh, okay, Mr. Lumide, I have seen your question. Unfortunately, tonight I'm not dealing with business and legal structure. As you know, I'm a business and real estate lawyer, so I do both. Primarily, I do other things legal, but primarily I am a business and real estate lawyer. Okay, so Mr. Lumide, what you will do for me, you will send me a DM. Okay, if you can hear me, you can, Mr. Lumide, just send me a DM, and I will attend to your DM after the section. Or better still, you go to my bio and you click on the link. You will see contact me. When you click on contact me and you open the link, you will see part of the contact me is chat me up on WhatsApp. So you just click, it will take you automatically to my WhatsApp channel, and you chat me up and drop this question so that I can attend to it. Okay, so please just stay tuned so that we can talk on real estate, because as an entrepreneur and you're making money, it's very important that you invest in real estate. So okay, it's 9 o'clock on the dot. It is 9 o'clock on the dot, so we are about to start for tonight's live section. We're about to start. Okay, one second. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to a live section for tonight. I am happy and super happy to come on board tonight again. And tonight we have a very interesting topic that we want to talk about that affects everybody, whether you were ready or you were not ready for now. It's a topic that affects everybody. So on Law Talk series tonight, we'll be looking at a part of Realty Reality series. So welcome on board to our live section on Realty Reality series. Okay, on tonight's section, we are going to be talking about 5 things to consider when investing in real estate. 5 things to consider when investing in real estate. First thing first, I need to introduce myself, obviously, or reintroduce myself for those of you that already know about me. My name is Precious Toju. Precious Toju. Toju spelled T-O-J-U. Very simple, Precious Toju. Don't bother about the other name. It's very lengthy. So my name is Precious Toju. I am basically a business and real estate lawyer. And what I do primarily is to help entrepreneurs, companies, and investors avoid costly legal mistakes in their business and real estate transactions. So when it comes to the business aspect of it, I help you build a solid legal structure that will help you in turn build a business empire and a global brand that will outlive you. So my target and my goal is that as you build your business using legal structures, you will be able to build an empire and a global brand that will outlive you. So I am focused on helping you build an international brand, not just local or national, an international brand and an empire that you will leave behind for your generations unborn. And when it comes to real estate, I help people invest wisely in real estate, and I help them close only legitimate deals. And for those that are interested in selling real estate, I also help them to close legit deals with their clients. Okay, so that's basically about me. Primarily, that's what I do. I do other things legal, but primarily I am a business and real estate lawyer. So on the Realty Reality series tonight, I am going to be talking about 5 things to consider when you want to invest in real estate, or 5 things to consider when investing in real estate. Okay, thank you for joining. Please guys, so that I will not interrupt or cut the section, I will just have to, I notice everybody that is coming online, and I really appreciate everyone. So first thing first, when we hear about real estate, people ordinarily are not the middle class, the lower class people. When you talk about real estate, they don't really understand. What they know is land, property, property is over. What they know is land, houses, ile, if you are a Yoruba person. Okay, so a mini educated and educated person really understand what real estate. So but I just want to talk about a little bit what exactly is real estate. When we talk about real estate, what exactly are we talking about? What do I mean by real estate? Real estate simply has to do with an unmovable property that you own. An unmovable property. You cannot move a land, you cannot move a house, you cannot move a building, you cannot move a complex. Okay, it is a static. When we're talking about structure now, it is a static kind of property. And the truth of the matter is, at every point in time, everybody should think of investing in real estate. And as we speak, the real estate industry has evolved over time. We have a lot when it comes to real estate. Real estate has gone beyond buying of land, buying of property, buying of homes. We have on the Law Talk series last year, we invited one of the MD of one of the fastest growing real estate company, and we talked about real estate banking. A lot of people do not know real estate banking, so it talked about real estate banking, we have talked about real estate development. We have talked about a whole lot of things. So real estate just goes beyond buying and selling land. We have real estate banking, we have real estate development, we have real estate trade by barter. A lot. There's a whole lot when it comes to real estate. So when I'm talking about real estate, it goes beyond buying of land and houses and homes. But tonight I'm going to be focused on buying property. Everybody, I used to say that everybody wants to own a piece of the earth, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I also used to say that the poorest of the poor wants to have at least a roof of his own over his head, something he can actually call his own house. So basically, that is what real estate is it's all about. Real estate is actually a necessity. It's compulsory. You can't keep being a tenant all the days of your life. And even when you are a landlord, there are a lot of things you can actually do with real estate other than just owning the property that you live under. Tonight, I am going to talk about very important things you need to note where you want to invest in real estate. Because for those that are Christians, the Holy Bible says that who is he that will want to build a house and will not first consider the cost implication of building that house, and he will just jump and go into building the house, and he will stop midway, just so that he does not have the resources, does not have the strength, he does not have the capacity to move ahead in completing that land and that home, that house. And the Bible says that when people see him that he has not completed this house, they will mock at him. Because why will people mock at him? It simply says that the people will mock at him because it shows that he is a stupid person, in quotes. It shows that he is somebody that did not put into consideration the possibility, the eventualities, if really he wants to invest in real estate. He did not weigh he did not weigh his options. He did not look out for his weaknesses. He only looked at the strength, what he's able to do right now. He didn't look at what is possible. What will happen if I am not able to meet up? Do I have a plan B? So it shows the incapacity of that person. It shows the inability to finish a project and to actually start a project and finish it. So tonight, I know there are a lot of marketers out there saying come and buy land, come and buy property. I know there are a lot of real estate companies out there developing estates every day saying come and buy, and all of that is beautiful. Even our real estate company, our real estate firm, Springville Realty Ventures, we also want to sell, and we are also telling you to come and buy. But as a real estate consultant, I go beyond selling. I go beyond just telling you to come and buy. I consult and let you understand the implications of certain steps you want to take in life. Now, I do not mean to discourage anybody. I do not mean to discourage you from investing in real estate. All I want to do tonight is to give you a checklist. Is to give you something you should work with. Now, this does not mean that everything on this my list has to be 100% on ground, but if you can score yourself to 90% or 80% or even 70%, you can actually go ahead and take the risk, because life in itself, it's all about taking risk. If you don't take risk, you will not really gain much from life, but you need to take constructive, calculated risk and meaningful risk. Okay, I also want to say tonight, before we move into the nitty-gritty of tonight's topic, what I want to say is that you must think of investing in real estate. Every billionaire, whether in naira or dollar or any currency, cannot single-handedly build that wealth over time without investing in real estate. There are a lot of things you can actually do when it comes to real estate investment. So I want you, while we are doing this checklist together, have at the back of your mind that come what may, I should invest in real estate, especially in this year, because this year there are a lot of promotions going on and all of that, because the companies are trying to see how people can buy at the easiest and most comfortable way. Okay, so having said that, was a very lengthy introduction. 5 things to note, 5 things to consider when investing in real estate. The first thing you need to consider as a prospect investor when you want to invest in real estate is your financial muscle. The truth of the matter is that money rules the world. That is the truth. Money rules the world. And you can do little or nothing without money. So when we're talking about real estate investment, we're talking about exchanging money for land, property, exchanging money for profits and interest. So even when you have a trade by barter kind of real estate, okay, you must have something to trade with. Either money, either something, either your land, you give it to a developer to develop, and he gives you a portion because you cannot develop it. So either way, you must have something to earn something. So real estate, when you want to invest in real estate, you need to sit down and weigh your financial muscle. Do you have the financial capacity to actually purchase that property? It's really important, especially if you are subscribing to an installmental payment plan. It's really important. You do not buy real estate with faith. No, please. You may not get this from anywhere. A marketer may not tell you this, because everybody wants to sell and make commission, which I do not condemn, because I am also a real estate person. I also want to sell, so to say, but I always like to spell it the way it is to people. If you do not have the financial muscle, do not start. What you should do is to prepare for it. Now, especially when you're doing installmental payment plan, please, you need to be sure you do not invest in real estate using faith. It's either you are doing the installmental payment plan based on your salary, or based on the fact that you have a side business that is bringing in some money, and that even that side business, you have another side business that in case money does not come in from here, you have a plan B. Why am I saying this? There's some real estate, the problem is that a lot of people do not look at the terms and conditions of subscribing to a particular estate plan when it comes to buying land or homes from real estate company. There's some real estate that will tell you, there's some real estate company that will tell you that if you default, you have to pay monthly. If you default in a particular month, you may have to forfeit, or you may pay penalty. If you cannot finish the payment plan, like you subscribe for 7 years installmental payment plan, and you stop at 3 years, you could not finish, you will have to forfeit the whole of your money, less some will tell you you will have to pay administrative fees of like 40%. So imagine that you subscribe for a land of 20 million naira and you are paying for 7 years, and you have succeeded to pay, you have successfully paid 7 million naira, and something went wrong along the line and you could not continue. Okay, so they're actually telling you that you will forfeit 40%, so you're going to let go of 3-point-something million naira. All of this you need to consider. So when you want to invest in real estate, in as much as it's beautiful to invest in real estate, you need to ask yourself, if I am subscribing to an installmental payment plan, do I have the capacity to go on this payment plan for the next 7 years? You must have a solid means of livelihood that is bringing in that money that you are paying for monthly, and a backup plan. Okay, and a backup plan just in case you lose your job, just in case this business does not bring in this particular amount of money. You have a backup plan. So the first thing you must note when you want to invest in real estate, the first thing you must consider when you want to start investing in real estate is your financial muscle. Do you have the financial muscle to pay outrightly for, if you're going for a property that is selling for 25 million naira, can you pay conveniently that 25 million naira? Now, do not get me wrong. Investing in real estate takes discipline, takes determination. So, it's not a convenient kind of investment. You may have to discomfort yourself, discomfort your family for a period of time to achieve that. But I am saying, even in the midst of that discomfort, will you be able to actually pay? Even inconveniently yourself, can you still pay conveniently? Because you will not tell your landlord that because you are investing in real estate, you're buying a land, you cannot pay his rent. You're not going to tell your children's school proprietor or whoever they are that because you're buying a land or property, you cannot pay that school fees. You're not going to tell your spouse that you cannot provide food for the next 7 years in the house because you're buying land and or a house. So by the time they die of hunger, who now lives in the house? So when I say financial muscle, you need to do a check. Whether you're going for an outright payment, whether you're going for instrumental payment, you need to do a check to be sure that I can meet up. That even if I am inconveniencing myself, even when I cannot go to Miami, even if I cannot take my family to Dubai, we can spend Christmas in the village. We may not spend Christmas in Dubai. Okay, let's change environment. Let's leave the town. Let's spend Christmas in the village because you are actually investing in real estate. Now, those are convenient kind of payment if grandma will allow me. So you also need to understand and do a check if you can actually pay the statutory fees. A lot of people do not know what statutory fees is all about. A lot of people, I have met people that have paid like 2.5 million naira for a land, and the company gives them a whooping sum of 1.5 million for statutory fees, and they come to me with that, precious, I cannot pay this money. Write to them, I want to sue them. You need to check, you need to be sure, you need to ask them what are the hidden charges, what are the additional charges. You need to be sure, because if you buy a land or you buy a house or a property and you do not have anything showing that you are the owner of that property, you have just bought, there is nothing tying you to that property. Okay, you have just succeeded in buying, but you have not succeeded in earning. It's a different thing for you to buy. You can buy a phone and it gets snatched from you while you're going home. You have bought, but you are not the owner. Somebody else has taken it from you. Okay, you can buy an iPad from a vendor and it doesn't issue you a receipt and you paid in cash, and you go home, the iPad is fake, and you go back and you don't have a receipt. There is nothing tying you, so you cannot really, you will shout, you will make noise, you will call the police. The person denies he has denied. So statutory fees is very important. So when you want to buy a property, you need to be absolutely sure that you have the financial capacity, not just to buy the land, not just to buy the house, but to pay the statutory fees, both official and non-official. Okay, so the second thing you need to note is when it comes to buying a land, the topography of the land texture, you need to put that into consideration. Even when they tell you is 100% dry land, you need to confirm. You need to do your check with all the professionals when it comes to, buying a legitimate land. So you need to understand that what kind of land, what kind of texture, that is if you're buying a bare land, a virgin land, or a land that there's no building and you want to be the one to erect building from the beginning to the end, from start to finish. So you need to understand what kind of land texture is it. What is the topography of that land? Is it a waterlogged land? Is it a 50% dry, 50% waterlogged? Is it 80% dry, 20% waterlogged? Because that 20% waterlogged can make a whole huge of difference in your bank statement. So you need to understand, so that if you're going to sand fill, you will put that in your expenses. You may not want to sand fill immediately, but it will definitely get to a time that you want to build that property, that land, or you want to lease it to a company to actually, take it from you and develop. Now, all of these things are going to be put into consideration with those companies that actually are taking it from you to develop on your behalf. So you need to understand that this property that I am about to buy, what is the topography of the land? What is the land texture? Is it waterlogged? Is it dry? Because the amount of money you're going to spend on a waterlogged land is never the same with a 100% dry land. The amount of money you're going to spend on a 100% dry land is not the same way you're going to spend on a 70%, 30%, 70% dry and 30% waterlogged. So you need to know the land texture if you are buying a landed property. It's really important. The third thing you need to note or consider when you want to buy a property is, what are your development plans for that property? Okay, what do you intend to do with the land? If you have bought a land, what plans do you have for that land? If you've bought a house that is not a newly built house, we have old building, we have custom built houses. Now, whichever one that you, hello guys, I'm seeing that you guys are joining. Please just keep joining and follow the conversation. Now, if you buy those kind of property, what are your plans? What do you intend to do with the land? What do you intend to do with the house? What do you intend to do with the custom built house that you have bought? Excuse me. It's really important. It's something you need to put into consideration, because if you do not put it into consideration, you can buy a land and you leave it fallow for years. And you see, taking possession is really important. Development plan also includes, building a fence around your land and putting a gate on it. It's part of your development plan. Oh, you may not have the money to build it immediately, but you should have the money, or try to get the money in the shortest possible time to actually, fence your house, to show ownership, to show possession. So another thing you should put into consideration when you want to build, when you want to invest in real estate is, what are your development plan? It is, you see, in law, it is who owns land that owns the building. But also in that same law, when there is a dispute concerning ownership of a particular land, the court will also consider how long you have been on that property. Because one of the ways of showing ownership is being in possession for a couple of decades undisturbed by a third party or another party. So it's not just enough. My point here exactly is, it's not just enough to buy a land. It's not just enough to buy a property. It's really important that you have a sketch, a plan for that property, what you intend to do with it. I have had a lot of people meet me in that they bought property over 10 years. They cannot even recognize where the land is. And if you can't recognize your own land, what do you want me to do that I wasn't there when you bought the land? That simply shows that You do not have a plan. There was no plan. When the person was buying the land, did not plan what he was going to do with the land. He who fails to plan, plans to fail. So when you are buying a land, I keep saying, every marketer wants to sell. And that is why I differentiate myself. I may be a realtor. I may run a partnership realtor company. But our services goes beyond selling. Our services involves consultancy and helping you achieve much with your real estate investment. We go beyond selling. We tell you how you can make money from your land, even when you don't have money to develop it. Well, you will have to subscribe to our Wise Investors Network to be disposed those information. Okay, so it's not just enough for you to say you want to marry. What plans do you have for your marriage? What plans do you have for your spouse? What are your vision? What are your goals? What are your targets in life? Because, sorry to digress a little bit, when I'm talking to young ladies and when I'm talking to women, I used to tell my fellow women, any woman can get married. Marriage is not by your degree or anything. Anybody can get married. But is that all you came to do in life? To get married and have kids? Mad women on the streets have kids. Disabled, with all sense of respect to disabled people, they have kids. If you do not have plans, you just end up getting married, being a trophy wife, and having kids. So it's the same thing when you buy a land. If you don't have a plan concerning the land or the property that you have bought, you will be a poor landlord. You'll be a poor landowner. You must have a plan for the land that you're about to buy. Oh, somebody's advertising. They say buy 5 plots, get 1 free. It's beautiful. I am in no way condemning it. What is your plan for 6 plots of land? Don't get me wrong, it's very good to grab opportunities when they come. I am an opportunist, in quotes, as well, not the negative, the positive part of it. So life is all about opportunity. When opportunity comes your way, you grab it. So at times, this buy 5 get 1 free, you may not see it. In the next 10 years, it may not be in existence again, because real estate would have moved to the second phase. It's good. But do you know that even these real estate companies that you are buying 5 and get 1 free with, if you do not develop at a particular time, they do not see a particular thing that you're doing, they have it in their terms and conditions, you begin to have 1 or 2 issues. You begin to pay fines, you begin to pay default fees, you begin to pay maintenance fees for a land that you already own. So when you have bought a 5 plots, get 1 free. My dearest investor, what is your plan for 1 acre of land? 1 acre of land is simply 6 plots. What is your plan? So the third thing you must note as a prospect investor, when you want to invest in real estate, is what is your development plan for that investment? What do you intend to derive? What do you intend to do with that land that you have bought, with that house that you have bought? Do you intend to bring down the building and build another one? If it's a home, do you intend to move with your family, or do you intend to let it out to tenants so that you can earn money? You must have a plan on ground. This is one of the things we do in the Wise Realtors Network. We teach you how to make good money from your real estate investment. Okay, all right. So the 4th thing you need to note and put into utmost consideration when you are investing in real estate is your perfection of title. You see, this particular one, I can talk about it for a whole month. Different phases of perfection. Now, first thing first, what exactly is perfection of title? Let me break it down. By virtue of Land Use Act of 1978, that is the supreme law in Nigeria that covers anything land and property. This law gives to every state government in every ownership title to any property in the urban area, in the township area, and to the local government in the rural areas. So that is why you hear things like governor's consent. You hear things that certificate of occupancy. This simply means that even the person that owns the property that's sold to you needs to get the consent of the overall owner to make that sale legitimate. So when I see people buy a property and they get a deed of assignment, beautiful, that's one of your statutory documents. They get a deed of assignment and they go and keep that deed of assignment in the safe and say, I have a property somewhere. You don't have any property. You only can have claim over the person that sold to you. You cannot have claim over the government. In fact, by law, the government does not recognize you as the owner of that land until you have perfected your title with them. And that is why you see government, they will compensate those that, they decided to take this particular place, to use it for cemetery, to use it for public hospital, public school. They will compensate those that have perfected that title with them. But those that don't have one deed of assignment and kept one place, they have no compensation. So, my dear investor, prospect investor, when you are buying a property, you need to consider perfecting your title. Without perfection of title, you do not have any property. That is the raw truth. What you have succeeded in doing is getting that property from the first owner, but you have not outrightly gotten it from the government that automatically owns all the property in the state by virtue of the Land Use Act of 1978, which is a valid law as we stand here in Nigeria as of today. So tomorrow if it's repealed by tomorrow, but as we speak today, it is what it is. So when somebody is telling you come and buy property, come and buy, you need to also have the other thing in mind. How do I perfect my title? Do I have the capacity? Because perfecting your title, it takes a whole lot. Expenses are involved, fees are involved, government fees are involved, tax fees are involved, assessment fees are involved, development plan fees are involved. So you need to put all of these into consideration when you are buying. And lastly, the fifth thing you should put into consideration when you are buying a property is the legal status of that property. This actually comes before any other one, but I decided to put it as the last because it is the last, but not the least. You see, when you want to buy a property and the legal status has not been confirmed to you by your lawyer, you will end up buying what I call court case matter, court case land, court case houses, court case property. And I tell people, do not be penny wise, pound foolish. Do not spend 5 million to buy a land when you cannot spend few thousands to confirm the legal status of that property. Come to think of it, at the end of the day, who has to lose? Your lawyer has nothing to lose. So it's very important, very paramount, of a great necessity that you put into consideration the legal status of the property that you are about to buy before you pay a penny to anyone. Well, you can actually decide to go ahead to buy it without knowing the legal status. The choice is yours. Life, like I tell people, life is all about choices, and the choices that we make today is what we reap tomorrow. Excuse me. But as a real estate lawyer, never ever buy any property without knowing the legal status of that property. I think I talk about it every day, almost every day. Tuesdays when I talk about real estate, realty realities. Thursdays I talk about investment tips. I talk about it on my YouTube channel. I talk about it on my blog. I talk about it on my IG page, my Twitter, because even I have had colleagues, I've handled property issues for colleagues, my fellow lawyers that fell victim for scams, for fraudsters and trick masters. The legal status of any property, whether it is a property in a well-developed estate, government can come and demolish an estate if the legal status is not authentic, is not right. So it's not about the estate is beautiful. Yes, it's good. It's not about the place is, oh God, the environment is, oh, it's breathtaking. Yes, I agree. But do you know the legal status? The legal status contains a whole lot. It contains due diligence. Do they have an approved layout? And let me just say it here. You might actually see a property that has a C of O, but it's actually sitting on a canal. It's actually on the road, on a map out road of the government, or a road that is actually on the road, on an express road, a future express road, a future overhead bridge, pedestrian bridge. You see, all of this are things you must know, you must put into consideration when you want to invest in real estate. I tell people, investing in real estate is a big deal. It's not as easy and as the way it is advertised on the internet everywhere. A lot of things, these things I'm saying, it doesn't have to take ages, but it must be in place when you want to invest in real estate. So whether you are a Nigerian, because I am a Nigerian, I'm a Nigerian Lagos-based lawyer, or any part of the world that you are in, whenever you want to invest in real estate, you must consider the legal status of that property. And the only way you can actually know the legal status of that property is to consult with your lawyer. Now, you see, talking about capacity, financial capacity, the land texture, the development plan, the perfection of title, if you have a one-stop real estate consultant like my humble self, like the company that we run, all of these 5 things I've talked about will be taken care of before you even decide to pay your money. So, in a wrap on this series is, you must put these 5 things into consideration when you want to invest in real estate. Before you invest in real estate, 5 things you must put into consideration before investing in real estate. Number 1, your financial muscle. Do you have the financial capacity to buy that property completely? If you're going on for an outright purchase, do you have the financial capacity to pay that 20 million, the 25 million, the 30 million, the 35 million? Because there is what we call a contract of sale in property transaction, which does not give you the total right over the property. It gives you just an equitable, no, that is a legal term. It just gives you a 50% right into that property, or 50% right of that property. The other 50% will be given to you when you have completed your payment. So you need to be sure that you have the financial capacity to actually finish paying. If you're going for an installmental payment plan, you have the financial capacity to actually pay as at when you complete your 7 years, 5 years payment plan. And if it's outright, you know, there's some outright that we sell in our company that is 3 months and is 6 months. You pay the first installment you make a first deposit, and you can spread the balance within 3 months, within 6 months. It's still outright. Now, mostly instrumental starts from 12 months, 2 years, 24 months, 7 years, and all of that. So 5 things that you must put into consideration when investing in real estate. Number 1, your financial muscle. Do not start something that you cannot finish at the end of the day. Another part is, do you have the capacity to pay for the statutory fees? Because you're going to pay for survey, you're going to pay for deed of assignment, you're going to pay for development fees. Do you have the money to pay for all of this? And even when you do not have the money, do you have an understanding with the company that you may not be able to pay for this immediately? You have an understanding that, oh, you have secured the land while you pay for the statutory fees instrumentally. That must be in black and white. That must be settled before you drop your ₦1 or your $1. The second thing I've talked about tonight is, do you know the land texture? Do you know the topography of the land that you are about to buy? If you're buying a bare land, if you're buying a virgin land, if you're buying a land that has not been developed, do you know the texture of the land? Is it a 100% waterlogged land? Is it a 70-80% dry and 20 or 30% waterlogged? Is it a completely waterlogged or a completely dry land? And you will not just go by what is being advertised, oh, 100% dry. Yes, we put that on our posters too, we put that on our flyers too, but you need to also confirm, because in law, it is you have the responsibility to authenticate whatever it is you want to buy before you pay your money. The third thing I've talked about tonight is your development plans. What are the plans that you have concerning your land? When you want to buy a land, when you have bought a land, what is your 1 year plan, your 2 years plan? Do you intend to develop it? Do you want to lease it out? You do not live the way real estate brings in money for you. It's not by you just living it and it appreciates by 50% in the next 6 months. It's part of it, but you must have a plan down. We guide our investors in all of this. You must have a plan down. You must have something on ground. You can buy a land and you will become you can buy a land of 1.5 million and you become a multi-millionaire with that land if you have this plan that, oh, you want to meet, I'm not going to say that until you register for our Wise Investors Network class. Okay, so all right, so the fourth thing I've talked about is perfection of title. Do you have the ability to perfect your title with the government? You have the capacity to perfect your title with the government when you have bought, because it is only when the government has legally recognized that buy from Mr. A to Mr. Z, though Mr. A that originally owns the property has actually sold to Mr. Z, and the government recognizes it, consents to it. That is what is called this consent. That is when you can really relax that you have a property that is legally recognized and recognized by the government. Is the last thing I've talked about tonight is the legal status of the property. You need to put it into consideration. The legal status of the property must be known to you, and you can only get to know this when you engage the service of a lawyer to confirm the legal status of the property. So 5 things you must note, 5 things you must put into consideration when investing in real estate. 1, your financial muscle. 2, the land texture of the property, the texture of the property, the topography of the property. 3, your development plan. What are the plans that you have for that property that you have just purchased? 4thly, the perfection of the title of your title of that property. And lastly, the legal status of the property. Okay, so that's a wrap for tonight. Okay, so let me quickly take a question. Mr. Lumide is saying, summary point: know the legal status, have knowledgeable idea of the property, cost for engaging the services of experts, and financial position. Please let us clap for Mr. Olumide. So if I was doing a giveaway tonight, Mr. Olumide would have been my winner. Thank you. Those are You summarized the point very well. Thank you so much. Okay, so in summary, we actually have a real estate firm. We actually have what we call